You started with a little tremor, didn't you, when Terry was 57?
Right.
And after a few years, that went, didn't it, with medication?
Yeah.
And then, unfortunately, one of the side effects of one of the medicines was low blood sugar, and Terry passed out and fractured badly his spine in several places, which is now why he's
So that's what the
so slumped. But you were doing very well, weren't you?
Yeah.
And then last year, I saw something online. I said to Terry, "Oh, this looks good. Let's put your name down for this." And so we did. We put your name down, didn't we?
Yeah.
Thinking perhaps it would help with Terry sticking, because you'd fallen several times.
3 or 4 times during the day.
So when we had it, we hadn't got high expectations. That was probably it, really. That perhaps it would help with that.
Maybe. So we didn't have anything, and when they came and fitted it on, I was all like, I said, watch what's going to happen. And I was really excited, and I realised really straight away something had changed. That things had brightened up.
You had a very, very quick reaction.
It was like, I felt I was at the end of a tunnel anyway, and it's all not quite in focus. And I was just sitting back during a conversation and not really taking part, just nodding. And I didn't contribute. But when you switched the machine on, it was brighter, and it was clearer and crystal clear, and I could hear. And I started to speak and realised my voice had come back.
You know, one of the very first symptoms, other than the tremor, was that Terry started to slur and lose power in his voice.
And my secretary said, "It's the first time I've seen you nervous."
But it meant you had to give your job up, didn't it? Because obviously, if you're teaching, if you're teaching and there was no projection in your voice and you were slurring, it was such a shame, really, because physically, Terry was well for many, many years after that, but the voice, even right back then, 16 years ago, was one of the very first things to go. So to get the improvement back in Terry's voice, when it's been like that for 16 years, is pretty miraculous, isn't it? So the day before the CUE1 arrived, we were in talking to the consultant, and we spoke about this constant drooling, and he could see it was a big problem, but there was a drug, but Terry said, "Oh, I'll try it," because we were pretty desperate. So he said, "Well, I'll write the prescription and send it to your GP, and you'll get it in about 3 weeks." So then the next day, the CUE1 arrives. And so Terry's using the CUE1 every day, and he's very happy. And then the doctor sent a message to say 3 or 4 weeks later that the prescription was ready.
Oh, remember the
Terry said, "I don't need it. I don't need it. Yes, you do dribble occasionally, but it was almost constant. His clothes were wet. It's been, and it's got better since then." So that was then Terry was saying, "Well, look, I'm not dribbling as much," to now we're saying,
"Oh, sure."
Yeah. It's amazing, Lucy.
Yeah, anyway, I used to play guitar a lot, and I'd dive down to it occasionally.
You were hard to play.
But now you
I had 3 hours the other day.
Wow, yeah. Please start doing those activities, even if it's small, because what we see is we may be helping you 5%, but that 5% might be helping you start to have 1-2 more steps. It might help you start playing guitar again. It might help you with X, Y, Z, and these things really accumulate. So that's why we wanted to see the continuous improvement and everything. But what we realized when people started using is that we might be just topping up a little bit, but people start going to see their friends, families are happier, and then that kind of goes up, and it creates a synergetic kind of effect.
My confidence overnight changed.
Your mobility in general, Terry, I mean, you were using a stick to get around the house.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, using a stick. And Terry uses a walker when we're outside. But friends have come and said, like, Terry's just got up and walked through the kitchen. I mean, that noticeable.
Yeah, and John said the other day, put him in the corner and switch him off, he's talking to him. He said,
Yeah.
he's back to his old self. Your spirit is back.
And sleep, Terry. You felt that you were sleeping better.
Yeah,
Also.
longer.
And definitely not sticking, Lucy.
Yeah.
Feet
That went
have-
down.
that has gone.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Terry's feet aren't sticking. I mean, can you imagine what that's done to our lives? So, taken away the sticking, no drooling, a much louder voice, and participating.
I know. I'm
Participating.
I go in the shop now, and then yesterday we spent hours looking for stuff, and I enjoyed being in the shop and being surrounded by people. Now that's brand new.
I also think, Terry, that like a couple of months ago, for the first time since well before COVID, we've been to the theatre twice, haven't we, in the last few months?
That's
All
so
down,
nice.
halfway
Yeah.
through.
That's so
Yeah.
nice.
We wouldn't have gone. We would not have gone. So these all lots and lots of little things.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how
And just-
before the CUE1 came, we'd said, well, it might not do anything, but it might just help with movement. And then to go from that to discover that actually it's changed every aspect, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Really.
Everything. There's magic in there. Yeah.
Exactly.
The magic of it.
We feel like it's a little bit of a miracle,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
Seriously,
Yeah.
it's our little, miracle that you've given us. We feel overall,
You know, in general, we've all gone up.
everything's gone up,
Yeah.
hasn't it?
Yeah.
Early on, we realized that vibrotactile stimulation can help with micrographia when Parkinson's symptoms affect their writing and the writing gets smaller. And then we started thinking, if something helped with their writing, it may help with other movement symptoms. From there, we started research. Okay, what can we do further? What is it that it helped with the writing? Could we support with more symptoms and not just writing, walking, but with the underlying symptoms of stiffness, slowness, rigidity, and initiation of the movements? By carrying out further research and development, closely together with people with Parkinson's and healthcare professionals, we were able to develop a wearable device that uses focus stimulation and cueing to improve symptoms of Parkinson's, just like the one that Terry is using it right now. We learned from you and our researchers who we are collaborating with, and we feel like this is the beginning of the wearable stimulation device where we will continue to make improvements that can make more and more improvements into people with Parkinson's and their family members' lives to bring more smiles for people with and around Parkinson's.
Can I just say thank you? What a big, life-changing thing this has been for us, because it's changed our lives
Totally.
so much. The whole thing hasn't it?
Many things got easier.
And for the family, and for our friends, our daughter and our son.
We've also been able to look after you a bit more. You really have time, have more time.
Well, I do have a bit more time. Yeah, I do.
Yourself.
And it's just been a real game changer, a real life changer.
Yeah.